So, what we're going to do today, because it's raining, you can probably hear it, and working on the truck requires a lot of good weather. We're limited very much by the weather. So I'm doing an indoor job, which is swapping the broken shafts of these Trico wiper motors for some new ones. Unfortunately, at some point, the truck was fitted with the wrong type of wiper blades, and when somebody's opened the windscreen, it has broken off these little brass ends. Not good. So, the first thing that we're going to do, take this nut off the outside. This little spacer helps seal the shaft against the roof of the truck. And the next piece that comes off, this bit, is basically a spacer between the wiper motor and the roof skin of the truck. These are two different lengths. This is the longer length. The other side, the other motor, has a slightly shorter one. We then take this cover off the back, put that to one side, and reveal all of the awful tiny little bits that are definitely going to get lost, throw themselves into the ether. So we take this piece off here, and then this little paddle comes off, which is extremely tiny and crying out to get lost. And then this piece comes off. And then this little bit comes off. Or it gets stuck on the shaft and doesn't want to move. Come on. Come on. There we go. Next we have these little screws. Now these are a weird, funky fitting, which in all honesty, the easiest way I've found to undo them is with a pair of needle nose pliers. So we unscrew these. There are people who do this professionally somewhere looking at me or watching this video, and they're upset with me. Unfortunately, I'm on quite the budget and I don't have the proper tools to do it. So this is what I am dealing with. And with all of them out, the top cover should come off there. Now it's left the gasket behind, and that's okay. As I say, these two motors will probably get a rebuild at some point. Oh, sorry about that. Unfortunately, under this tin roof, if it starts raining, it sounds like you're inside a drum. Anyway, so we carefully extract these little gaskets. And as I was saying, these two wiper motors, I'll probably try and find a rebuild kit for each one, just to give them a bit of a chance. And we slide this out of here. These are the bellows, because as I say, these are vacuum wipers. This is the old shaft cover, and then I did attempt to make new shafts for them. These are made out of hardened hooks from a paint shop, but a good friend of mine found me some new, well, second-hand but perfectly usable shafts. So that goes inside the bellow, and you wiggle and jiggle it, and eventually it slots its way in, hopefully. There we go. The bellows go back into the body, and this nut here lines up in this slot. The gaskets, which like I say, they'll probably be replaced if I or when I find a rebuild kit. They go back on here. We pop the top back on, and all the holes have lined up. And then we have the joy of these little screws going back in. My understanding is that the early trucks, mine's an early one, it was built in May 1941. As I understand it, they should have left and right hand motors. But the two motors that are fitted to my truck are both the same handed. I'll show you here, they've both got the controls on the same side. So we take our little spacer piece and we slot that on. This cap goes on, and then the nut. That all has to come off when we fit it to the truck, so I'll just do it finger tight for now. Now our little funky valve piece, that goes on with the bump side out. Followed by this piece and our little switch, for want of a better word, and then the little hook, the little loop with its spring and hook that's very tiny, and if I'm not careful is going to shoot across the room and I'm going to lose it forever. You'll love to see it. And then we take the cover with the little indent to the bottom, and we snap that in place, and there we have it. New wiper shafts. As I say, these will probably they'll probably come off again, come apart again at some point, because I want to put a rebuild kit through. I want to use a rebuild kit on these motors, just to make sure that the seals are good and the gaskets are all good in them. But with any luck, I now have working wiper motors. One more step.